I'm super in on this. I think accountants are best placed to provide support around this, right? Because they have the data, they have the relationships, and you understand the business better than anyone else, right? Without a shadow of a doubt. An accountant understands a business better than the business owner, HMRC, Dave down the pub, ChatGPT, all of that, right? You actually understand the business. So to be able to then support around finance is actually really natural. But one of the things that we used to hear is, well, hey, what happens if, I've helped the client out, I've given them support, I won't say advice, giving them support. They've taken the lending out and they default on that. Or they don't pay the lending, right? That's the worst case scenario. But it does happen, right? We're in really uncertain times. What's your kind of thoughts on that? How does that, because some accountants always used to say to me, that reflects badly on me, or like, is that risk with me? How does that work in kind of your world, and what do you see? And actually, let's be honest. Let's be really honest here, right? How often does that happen? There you go. They always say you should never put 5 questions on top of each other. It's like my actual hobby now, I think.
Thanks. Yeah. It's really, really important to always think this through and think through the various scenarios. So often, before taking out the facility, there's going to be the question around security. Will there be a personal guarantee involved? Will there be security against a property, an asset, or is it completely unsecured? And in the main, there's going to be some form of a security. The most common is personal guarantee. So again, business owners going through that need to be fully aware of that, and in a lot of cases will need to take independent legal advice before signing a personal guarantee, particularly if it's above a certain value. One thing that we always kind of showcase and talk about is things like personal guarantee insurance. So you can get personal guarantee insurance in the UK up to £400,000. So that is something that a lot of business owners like to do from a peace of mind perspective. Digging into your questions kind of around defaults and when things do go that way, what I would say is a lot of the banks and the lenders are super proactive and willing to work with those businesses. The worst thing I think you can do is bury your head in the sand. So I've seen so many different times where business owners have been, because a lot of the time there'll be a scenario where there was an order that was supposed to land in, or a contract got moved. I can think of one recently in Manchester in childcare services, whereby they had a facility with a big unsecured lender, and her main social housing contract got moved, and the cash flow got moved 3 months out, which kind of made a tremendous difference to her capabilities to pay down against that. We were able to kind of go to the alternative finance provider and chat to them, explain it, showcase the contracts, get a pause in the facility, and extend the facility term so that when it did come back around, there was a little bit more management on it. So I would say there's a real willingness with banks and lenders to work with businesses that are being proactive in that space. And a lot of the business owners also want to do something about it, because the reason they get into business is they want to try things and do things. As we all know, it's never always going to be successful, but they're also cognizant that if they don't do something, that it's going to be on their credit file, so it's going to be a real blocker if they want to go down the funding route in the future. So I think my main message is to always be proactive in those situations, and that you will be surprised that people will be willing to work with you on it.